So today we know that we are focusing all about vocabulary. So we are going to be explaining the meaning of words. Now we can use Vocabulary Victor to help us because he helps us to look at the words and phrases that we're unsure of. So what we need to do, using our knowledge on what Vocabulary Victor has helped us with so far, is to pick out the words from the text, read around them, and then use what you already know about the story, about the plot, to figure out what the word or phrase must mean. So we can see that there are a variety of different Vocabulary Victor questions. Now these will all be checking that you understand what you have read. Now the question that we are specifically going to look at today is the tick the meaning question. So it will give you a quote, a direct quote from the book. You will have to find that quote in the book and then it will ask you a question on that quote. It might ask you, what does the word mean? Or what does the word suggest? And that is going to be all about meaning. So today we are going to start with looking at one together. So the first one is, really? Asked Lila, fascinated. What does the word fascinated suggest? Now, before we even begin to look at the answers that we have available, we need to find where this quote is in the book. So we can see that here is where it says, really? Asked Lila, fascinated. When we have found the quote in the book, we can then start to highlight the key words. So one of our keywords is what. So we need to think of what it suggests. So there's going to be a reason, a thing. Then we need to look for what we are actually thinking about, and it's this word fascinated. Now, if you've not heard of the word fascinated before, what you can do is read around the text to see what it might suggest. But before you even do this, you can have a look at the options you have available. Now, it says here that I need to tick one, so I'm only going to make sure that I tick one. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start by reading all the answers that I have available. And then I will read around the text to see which one fits the best. So I can see that I'm focusing on what the word fascinated suggests. Now, does it suggest that Lila was tired? Now I'm starting to think, is there anywhere that shows me that Lila is tired? Does it suggest that Lila was angry? Lila was interested? Or Lila was confused. Now, I'm still not entirely sure what this means so far, so I'm going to read around my key word because that is going to help me to really understand the context of what I've read. So now I can see, really? Asked Lila, fascinated. You mean you see pictures? Do you remember everything that way, or only some things? So here I can see that Lila has started to ask questions, and I can use my knowledge of the previous chapter in the book to know, or the previous page, to know that Lila was asking these questions to Con. I can also read around it and understand that she was talking to Con about her photographic memory. Now, when you're asking people questions, do you normally ask them questions because you're tired? No. Do you normally ask them questions because you're angry? Maybe sometimes you might ask someone a question, or why do you think it's okay to be like this, maybe? Or why do you think it's okay to leave the washing up on the side? That's a question, and that can be quite angry sometimes. So it could be angry. I'm going to keep that in my mind. Do you normally ask questions if you're interested about something? Maybe. Sometimes I might ask you, well, what did you do on the weekend? And that could be me asking you a question because I'm interested in what you are doing. Do you normally ask questions because you're confused? Yes, you do normally ask questions if you're confused. You might say, Miss Newman, what does this mean? Now, I've narrowed it down to 3 answers here, and that's still not helping me. So now, when I've read around the text, I can start to think about it more in context. And I can read the type of question that she's asking. And I can see that she's asking, you mean you see pictures? Do you remember everything that way, or only some things? Now, is she saying that in an angry tone? No. Is she acting a bit interested? Yes, she's asking more questions. Is she acting a bit confused? Not really. She's not confused about what Con's doing. She's just very interested. So then I can tick the box that Lila was interested. So here I've highlighted the keywords in my question. I've found that word or maybe group of words in my text. I've read around my text. I've read my answers available. And then I've came to a logical conclusion of what my answer is based on what I know and what the book is telling me. Now it's your turn to have a go at this question. It says, number 1, her cheeks rose. What does this suggest about Con? So here is the text in this part here where it says her cheeks rose. Look at the key words, find the quote or group of words in the text, read around it, and come to a logical conclusion. Make sure you read all the answers available, okay? Pause the video now and I would like you to answer this question, please. Off you go. Okay, so first of all then, let's highlight the key words. We can see here that the phrase we are looking for is her cheeks rose, and I have already highlighted it in my text on the screen. We can then highlight the word Con because it's suggesting something about Con. We can also use this later on to use what we know about Con's personality to help us. And then finally, 1. Just one answer is what we need to tick. So let's read the answers available then. Does it suggest that she was about to cry? Does it suggest she was smiling, she was tired, or she was bored? Well, if our cheeks rose, they are moving upwards. Can you all give me your cheeks rising? So what do you have to do for your cheeks to rise? What facial expression do you have to pull? Now, I don't want to do it. I almost did then. I don't want to do it because I give you the answer away. But almost certainly, when you try and make your cheeks rise, you've already worked out what Con was probably doing. But we need to be sure. So we're going to read around the text. So, she grinned. Her smile changed the whole shape of her face. Her cheeks rose and pushed her eyes into little squints, and her mouth stretched up and out to her earlobes. So, does this suggest she was about to cry? When your cheeks are rising, you are smiling. When you are smiling, sometimes your eyes go into little squints because you're that happy. So she wasn't about to cry. She definitely was not about to cry. She was smiling. Oh, maybe. She was tired. Well, when I'm tired, my eyes close, but my cheeks don't rise. And also she was bored. When you're bored, you're just looking a bit like this, aren't you? You don't really know what to do with yourself. So I think it was number 2. She was smiling. Now, if I'm not sure, I can also look at the context. Now, this comes, if you've got the text in front of you, this comes straight after Lila had been really interested about finding out what Con did. So Con was very happy that Lila took so much of an interest into what Con was doing. So your task today, you have got 5 questions where it asks you to look at a page. It then gives you a quote, a group of words, or one word, and then it asks you what that quote might suggest or the emotion that it gives. So what you need to do, you need to do the steps that we did today. Keywords, find the words in the text, look at the answers that are available. Look at what it could be. Eliminate, take out the ones that it definitely isn't. And then you can find the answer by using your knowledge and what the text is telling you. To tick 1. When you've answered the questions below, you must read the rest of the chapter Sardines. It's really important that you read the rest of the chapter Sardines because on Monday I will be asking you to summarise the whole of the chapter Sardines, and I will also give you a few retrieval questions too because it's really important. This book has about 400 pages in it, and we are going to spend forever reading it if we don't make sure that you are reading some at home too. Okay, so that's really important, Year 4. All right. I do have one plenary for you today. Apologies that it's cut off at the top. I don't know why it's done that. But number 1, what strategies can we use if we don't know the meaning of a word? And can you identify a synonym for the word tendrils? Pause the video here and have a think, please. Okay, did you find some strategies if we don't know a meaning of the word? We could look at the word in the text and read around the word. We could have a look at the answers that we have available and eliminate some of the words. We could use our knowledge of the text that we know already to try and work out what that word means. Did you identify a synonym, a word that means the same for tendrils? You could have the word coil, spiral. Okay. Fantastic listening today, Year 4. Have a fantastic, well-deserved, restful weekend. And I will see you on Monday. Goodbye.